Hi everyone at Flinders Christian College at LaTrobe campus. My name's Adam Voigt and I'm the founder and director of Real Schools. This is just a quick introductory video to a partnership that we're taking on across all three campuses of Flinders Christian College in 2014 and 2015. We've already done some training at Tyab and at Carrum Downs. We're working a little in reverse for LaTrobe, but I wanted to let you know that I'm really excited about coming out to visit you at your school this week and to spend some time with you in class, because it gives me a fantastic opportunity to get my head around the genuine challenges and also the genuine opportunities that you have to be able to advance practice in your school through restorative practices. I want to acknowledge that there'll be people across the school with varying levels of understanding about what restorative practices is. There'll be people that have had a go at restorative practices in the past. There'll be people who have been trained in restorative practices in the past, but there'll also be people who haven't. So we're really going to make a strong effort to make sure that everybody's on the same page about practice, because that's really the whole crux of our partnership, is about moving from an implicit framework of practice. That means you've got really good stuff that you use every day, all the time. You've been learning it on the job, you learned it in your formal training, but we file it away at the back of our heads and we end up using practice that we've learned individually but that we haven't focused on collectively. And restorative practices is about being able to take that framework, that implicit framework, to be able to take it, put it on the table, examine it, share it, talk about it, so that we get on the same page and establish what I refer to as an explicit framework of practice. And then you can really get some fantastic stuff going, both in terms of behaviour management, but also in terms of building a really strong, sustainable school culture. And look, to give you the very quick nutshell version of what restorative practices really is all about for me, the first thing is that the basic tenets of restorative practices are about harm and relationships. So that means that we're going to cue your teaching as well as your students into the notion that repairing relationships is hugely important, that there is some skill involved in that, and that the best accountability comes from being accountable to those relationships rather than to a punishment style framework. The second thing is we're going to talk about the operating domains, and that's really just about being able to balance firm and fair. And most people will tell me that if you can be firm and fair, then you're on the right track in terms of doing something around great classroom practice. So we're going to look explicitly about what it means to be high in one, high in another, to sacrifice one for another, or to actually get to the point where we're high in both. And we think that's where some fantastic stuff can happen. And we're going to give you a tool to be able to use that, and that's the restorative question cards. So there are 5 questions on each side there that you can use for both, if I may use the labels, typically that we might use, perpetrators and victims, to be able to move through what we would describe as a fair process. And what we find is that if we can engage regularly and often in a fair process, then we don't get kids carrying on about the outcome, that things work out really well for us. I want you to know that this is no drop and run approach. While we are going to do some professional learning around restorative practices over the next 2 years, it's going to be accompanied by more in-class support. We're going to communicate with your parents about what restorative practices is so that they're on the same page with you. We're going to provide mentoring and coaching for your team across the trip as well. We're also going to provide countless articles and staff meeting conversation starters to ensure that you are fully supported in being able to make a shift in your practice that's important to make. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to take a couple of minutes of your time today. I'm really looking forward to connecting with you this week and what might be possible through restorative practices for your campus out at Traralgon. I'll see you soon.